Hi, my name's Alana. I am making this video. I want to make a documentary of NEDA Week 2020, which this year they're doing a Come As You Are, and I just recently started getting associated with NEDA in the past couple years. So I want to make this documentary about my battles with my eating disorders over the past years, but I feel like a big thing that needs to be addressed with raising awareness for eating disorders and everything is that pictures can be a super touchy topic with a lot of people, in terms of for some people they're helpful because it's oh, congratulations, you're doing great. For other people it can be super triggering, so I don't think I'm going to share pictures because I know I trigger myself when I see pictures, so I'd rather not. I'm going to play with this because that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so my goal is to raise awareness for eating disorders. I already said that, but I want to do it in a way that makes people feel included and not left out. I have been battling anorexia and bulimia, and also when I was first diagnosed was EDNOS, eating disorder not otherwise specified. And again, in terms of triggers and everything, I don't personally like that word, but that's what it is, I guess. And I feel like talking about my habits and everything wouldn't truly benefit anyone until maybe you got to know me a little bit more, until I start posting more videos. So I'm going to refrain from posting about what my habits and everything were, because I don't want people watching this to take this as an instructional video of how can I get deeper into my problem or my disease. Because it is a disease, it's a mental illness. I am a very big advocate for mental illnesses. I feel like I want it to just be more normalized in everybody's everyday life, and I don't want it to just be something that everyone feels that they have. I don't know if that's a generalization, but I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily go into the deepness of for example, anxiety. There are normal anxieties that people have every day, but then there are people who have anxiety disorder that it's on a different level for them, and when someone might try to empathize or sympathize or whatever, it doesn't come off the right way because you're not having anxieties on the same level. But not to take away from what anybody's going through, I'm just saying that I feel like more people should be educated on the topics of mental health and mental illnesses and everything. So personally, I am a psychology major right now. I love making music, and that's really all I do. I do art sometimes as well. But yeah, so I'm a psychology major. I like dancing. I like choreographing. I like being in the arts. I sing. I don't know if I already said that. This is actually a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. I'm usually in a very upbeat mood, but sometimes I'm not. I've been trying to be more honest with myself in that way of not smiling because I feel like I need to, because I did that for a really long time of just oh, I'm supposed to be the happy person, so I'm always gonna smile, I'm always gonna laugh, I'm always gonna be the person who brings people up, and I never really addressed my own mental health. And then I addressed my mental health and I was ooh, it's a little tough. So I think that's interesting. Now that I'm making this video, people on YouTube, they have a talent of just bringing themselves up here and being hey guys, that's hard. And that's what I do in an everyday thing, and now I'm in my room chilling, and I'm usually not like that, and that's hard to do. So maybe the more videos I make, maybe I'll get more comfortable. I deleted 3 videos before this because I was just I don't even know what to say, or what should I do with my face. Also, this is what I'm playing with. It's a slime, but it's not. It's putty, if you remember that from childhood. So, I'm choreographing a dance right now for a Brave showcase that's coming up, which is a club at my school that is gonna be, I hope it goes super well. It's about domestic violence, or all the different things that can happen in relationships in terms of stalking or manipulation, or beating on someone, like all of those things. So I'm choreographing a dance. I really do want to be more educated in domestic violence. I feel as though that's all I know. Like the stalking, domestic violence, I automatically thinking like, oh, you beat your wife or whoever you're with, or you're mentally abusive with like your words or like how you make them feel and stuff. But that's really all I know. Like I feel like I don't know as much as I would want to. So I do want to learn more about that. But for the dance I'm choreographing, I'm doing a piece on almost like a person who's like emotionally unavailable, as in like they might say that they're there for you and everything, but it's not coming across that way. You feel like you're putting more effort into the relationship than the partner or person that you're with. So that's what it's about. I have like 5 dancers that I'm teaching it to, and I hope the message like comes across with like what I want people to take away from the dance. So to be honest, I don't even know if I'm gonna post this anywhere. Like it's just really me talking, getting things out of my head. I tend to overthink a lot at times, but I have good friends here. It's nice. I was inspired to start making YouTube videos like years ago, but I just never got out my comfort zone to actually do it. So the types of videos that I would want to post is like QAs of like, I realize I have not looked in the camera this whole time. I want to do like QAs and like have people ask me questions and I give them from my personal experience or my opinion, and then some of the things that I've learned like from being a psychology major, which I have learned a lot, like, which is interesting because I've gone through my eating disorders and everything, but when I was taking abnormal psychology, there were still things that I was learning about the eating disorder even though I was battling it. I did go into treatment last year, I believe, and it went really well. I got a lot of coping skills away from it, and it definitely helped me change my perspective about certain things. But a big thing about recovery that can be so hard is that now you have a whole separate set of mindsets in your head. So for example, for someone who's battling an eating disorder, you're stuck in your eating disorder. They call it like eating disorder voice as well, of just saying like, oh, you don't need this, or you're not worth it, like all of those things. And it's just so easy to give into it and just let it overcome you, which influences your behavior. But once you go to treatment, or for me personally, once I went into treatment, it was interesting because now I had this whole thing in my head of like, no, this is wrong, you are worth it, you can do this, like it's not gonna hurt you at the end. And so, excuse me, I burp a lot. So after that, or getting out of treatment, it was hard to have both ideas in your head, because like one is like extremely positive, like yay, recovery, and then on the other side you're still battling this inner voice, or like all of these inner thoughts that are just really hard to combat every single day, because like every day you're just fighting your mind, and it can be really hard. And I think something that tripped me out, I was talking to my brother. I have a brother. I was talking to my brother, and he was talking to me about like your mind. He told me to sit for like 20 seconds and not have any thoughts, like think about nothing. I was like, okay. So I sat down and I thought about like so many things. I thought about what sounds I was hearing, all of these things, and I would try to cut back to, no, I'm not supposed to be thinking about anything. So then he told me, he was just like, okay, your 20 seconds is up. Did you think about anything? I was just like, yeah. And he was just like, see, that goes to show, like, you are not your mind. Like, you can sit and be like, I'm not going to think about something. And then your mind will shoot and fire all of these other thoughts that you just weren't trying to do. Which is a big thing of how, like, depression can feel, I think, for me. I was diagnosed with moderate depression. I don't know what it is now. I haven't talked to anybody about that for a while, but with like you're fine, and then this like super negative voice is just in the back of your head, like you're not worth it, or you're this, you're that, and you kind of just like, all right, chill. Like it was never that serious, but it is, and it can hurt. It can take away from some of your relationships and friendships. For me, I just every now and then I kind of check out at times. Like I'll be in conversations and then I just kind of get over it, in some way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, before, when my depression was more severe, I definitely was just checking out, like, I wouldn't talk to people. I kind of just be alone. But I was okay because, like, I was used to being alone, so it wasn't, like, a big problem for me. It wasn't like, oh, I'm lonely. It was more just, like, I spent a lot of my time alone. And then more recently, I've been trying to do, like, some self-reflection and stuff like that, and it's making me realize that some of the friends that I had, or have, some of the friends I have, I was so busy tearing myself down and beating myself up over things that I didn't realize that some of my friends weren't treating me the way that I should be treated. And now that I'm doing, like, more reflection and everything, I had to step up and stand up for myself and be like, hey, like, this hurts me. And for some of them it was shocking because they're like, okay, well, it never hurt you before. And I'm just like, well, I didn't talk about it before because I was too busy in my own head tearing myself apart. So, therefore, I shall bring it up now. I'm bothered. So, I did that recently, and I've done it in the past too, but not as much in the past. I just don't stand up for myself. I tend to stand up for others more. That's, like, a big thing in my personality of, like, I try to be there for others a lot. But nowadays, okay, I try to be there for others a lot, but there is a point where I reach where I'm just like, I don't know how else to help you. Like, I've given you the same advice, like, 10 times. You still try to talk to me, but at some point, I kind of get over it. I'm like, okay, I've tried to help you, and you're just not reciprocating what I'm telling you. But I do that, too. Like, people give me advice, and I'm like, so I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm like, oh. So, I'm working on that still. Again, highly recommend getting some of this. I put glitter in mine. Anyway. So, this is my first video that I'm making. I'm sorry, I just went on a little, like, tangent. I said my name, I said about what the type of videos, the type of videos I want to try to make, advocating for mental illness in general. And something I want to challenge myself with is advocating for mental illnesses that I don't personally have as well. Like, personally, again, I've battled with eating disorders, but I've also battled with depression and anxiety. But I also want to bring into light, like, autism spectrum disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar, all of those things. I feel like they just need to be talked about, but I just want to make sure that I have the best level of my own knowledge so that I'm not just, like, talking and people are just like, okay, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I don't want to do that. I don't want to mis-talk about a certain disorder because I just don't want to do that. Again, this is, like, weird, just, like, kind of talking out loud and just saying my inner thoughts to a phone that's recording. Hopefully, I hope it's recording. But again, I hope that my future videos will be, like, a little bit more upbeat. This was just, like, a first video to be like, yo, I'm out here. And this week, if I'm consistent, hopefully I'm consistent with making videos this whole week during NEDA week and talking about my experiences with eating disorders and how it's impacted me, how it's helped me grow, how it's keeping me stagnant in certain areas of my mind. And, like, I probably will have, like, a couple of my friends, because I have those too. Ew. Sorry, that sound. Again. But I have friends that have experiences with eating disorders or disordered eating. And I feel like a big thing also is that eating disorders can be diagnosed or undiagnosed. Like, I feel like so many people don't get help because they're just like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Or it's not this or that, and then they end up getting more sick than anyone else because they never thought that they were bad enough to get help. And I think that's how I was at first. I was just like, wow, there's no problem. I don't even really know, like, what even started in my head to be like, yeah, we're just gonna try something new. And which was hard because, like, at first it was like a sports thing. I do, like, boxing, I did track in high school and all that stuff, so it was more of like I just want to be a little bit more in shape. And then I started over exercising like a lot. Again, I don't really want to get into my habits, so but I got into some pretty bad behaviors, and it impacted me a lot, and I didn't realize that it was a problem. I thought, well, there was one point where I was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but at that point it was my coping skill towards all the things that were going on in my head. And I had a bad breakup, and I think that might have triggered an initial response as well, but I also had family issues, so like there was a lot of things that just were building up to me being like, okay, I don't want to deal with my emotions, I'm going to put that energy into something else. And at the time, that energy went into something that was toxic for me, not healthy. So here I am 6 years later, still battling myself and trying to reach further towards recovery. But again, when I was in treatment, a big thing was recovery is not just a linear upward thing. Like, it's a roller coaster, and there's a lot of things. You'll have setbacks. And I think a big thing for me was my setbacks. I was just like, oh, like, no, I'm supposed to be better. I'm supposed to be doing better. Like, how am I relapsing again, or all that stuff? And it just wasn't clicking for me as well. I feel like I was in a state of quasi-recovery for a really long time, which is basically you're not really engaging in the eating disorder habits, but you're also not getting the benefits of recovery. So you're kind of just in like this weird middle position, and it makes relapsing a lot easier, or you're more prone to like relapse to things and everything. So I think that's a place that I was in for a while. I might still be in, who knows, but that's how I feel. Again, so I was eventually diagnosed with anorexia, but before I was chilling, doing my own thing. And eventually, my friends started speaking up like, yo, what is good with you? And I was like, I'm chilling. And they were like, yeah, no. And I was like, you're right. So I had to address some of those things. And so I'm trying to like find some new coping skills of like art and writing music and like poetry and doing all my schoolwork, because that's a big thing now. Which is cool. I also want to start releasing music. So again, I keep getting off topic what this channel is going to be. Goodness. So again, this week I'm going to try to focus on eating disorder stuff because it's NEDA week, and maybe each day I'll have like actual topic. Again, today is Tuesday and yesterday was the start, but we skipped yesterday, so we're just going to start here. Then in the future, I want this to be such an artistic channel, kind of, with like having my music on here, my poetry on here, choreographed dances on here that are mine or my friends or other people that I find inspirational, and doing little like interviews and stuff. A huge thing for me is connection. I think that like I do pretty well when I'm alone. Like, I know for some people they're just like, no, like everybody longs to be with somebody, and like, yeah, there are times where I definitely want to, have a friend there, but there are times where I can literally go days, maybe weeks, with really just zoning out and bettering myself, or not, or just being alone. I can do that for long periods of time. But a big thing is, why I say connection is because I do want to be able to understand people. I love being able to understand alternate perspectives and not being stuck in my own mindset, because I don't think a person can ever really stop learning. Like, I feel like there's always something else to go learn about either yourself, a hobby, or a person. And I, for a really long time, was stuck in like, oh no, well, this is right and this is wrong. But the world is changing, and I feel like, yes, still have a moral code, but, for example, like, for me, I try to compliment people who wear hijabs all the time. This is like a really bad example, but I try to, because like personally I don't know I'm not educated in the religion, but I'm not gonna dog someone because they're different. Like, and I want to gain that higher understanding of just understanding that people come from different backgrounds, and I want to learn about the different backgrounds, the different cultures, why people think the way they think, hence psychology major. But just with like everyone though, I feel like, I don't know, I might be having this big grand idea, but I hope it comes to pass. And I'm finally stepping out of my, oh, I can't do that, and actually making this video, because for years I was just like, oh no, I'll do it next year, or I'll do it when I'm this age, or I'll do it whatever. And I was just pushing it off more and more, and I feel like I really have to step out of that and actually do it. And I'll probably try to get better at like making eye contact with the camera, because me looking everywhere else is probably not what you're supposed to do, given all of the YouTube videos that I've watched. So, but it's like weird. It's like a little lens. I got these lenses for my phone so I can like record videos. I like using the fisheye because it makes you farther away. But yeah, hopefully I'll keep you guys posted. Who knows if anyone will even follow this channel or keep updated with what I'm doing, but hopefully, and even with, if I do gain followers and if this does blow up, that'd be sick. But if people who would follow me, if they sent me things, like I would want to promote it on here. Also, my brother that I mentioned before, his name is Chris, and he also has a YouTube channel. What it's called, not sure. I think it's something with like productions by Womack or something, but he produces and he makes music, and we're doing a lot of collabs, hence he's my brother, so like we chillin'. But I want this to make a difference, an impact. I want these videos to actually reach someone, to be like, okay, I feel like my voice is being heard even though I'm not speaking up, because not everybody needs to feel comfortable with sharing their story. But I think for the people who feel like they are willing enough to share their story and be that voice, I think it's going to make a huge impact. So that's really all what this video was, an introduction, a little bit about me, and hopefully this really goes somewhere. But have a good day, bye!